ready. You ready?
Good evening, everyone. This is Michael C. Voice, broadcasting live from Hollywood, California. This is Last Night's Show with Miz Meliz. Tonight's guests are the host of Amped Up, author and guitar master, Chasing Sounds, Brian Sutich, and the CEO of our sponsor for tonight's episode, from Photofy, John Andrews. Now with our co-host and producer, Cindy Harrison, and new associate producer, Anna Rounseville, here is the specially splendid Melissa Reyes.
Especially splendid. That's so exciting. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to last night's show. I'm Melissa Reyes, your host, and I'm really happy to introduce you to my guests and our sponsor for this evening, John Andrews from Photofy. Hi, John.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. Welcome. Thank you for being here all the way from South Carolina, North Carolina. Oh my gosh, where are you?
Somewhere in the Carolinas.
Somewhere in the Carolinas.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Now you have kind of a southern accent too, don't you? Where are you from? Are you from there originally?
From North Carolina, yeah. Born and bred. Born in Mount Airy, the fictional town of Mayberry.
Oh, really?
Maybe you've seen it on TV.
Yeah.
On the TVs. Yeah. So I'm native. I've lived away 4 times. I lived in Maine, D.C., Atlanta, and Arkansas.
Wow.
Every time I've come back. So I'm just going to stay here. I like it. And the future home of Amazon HQ2, Raleigh, North Carolina.
Raleigh. I like how you say that, Raleigh.
It's funny. Everybody says it on the plane wrong. When you're flying in there, we're getting ready to land in Raleigh. I'm like,
well, you know, I'm a Southern girl too.
Are you?
Yeah, Southern California.
California.
I'm a SoCal girl. I've been born and raised all my life, but I've been to Atlanta, I've been to South Carolina, Charleston, and Atlanta.
What a beautiful city.
Yeah. And
also,
go ahead.
No, Atlanta also beautiful. We were just there last week. Ted Rubin and I were there for Brand Innovators. And it was fantastic.
I love Atlanta. I love Atlanta a lot. And I didn't meet her there when I was there. I actually met her here. But you met my friend Carrie from Coca-Cola in Atlanta. Didn't you meet up with her?
We know Carrie very well. Yeah. And what a hometown brand Coca-Cola is.
Yeah, I love them. I love them.
It's neat being there. You think about the brands that are there that kind of define that city: Coke and Delta, Georgia Pacific. A lot of these brands that are just kind of core to everything that we know. It's kind of a neat city, but they are not going to win Amazon HQ2. Raleigh is.
Okay, well, let's talk to Brian Sutich. Brian, where are you coming in from?
Coming to you live from northern New Jersey, a very rural part of New Jersey.
Really?
So, yeah, not the cool part of New Jersey, like Hoboken. Right, I used to live, but yeah. So I'm hoping my video is sharp. Our internet connection is only so good, but yeah, always Jersey boy. Been around the world a couple times, but always lived in New Jersey. So
well,
excited to be here.
Oh, thank you so much for being here. Now, Brian is from Chasing Sound, and we met on the Anchor app. He's a podcaster there too, and has the show called Amped Up. And it's like a radio broadcast. It's really cool. It plays music, and that's how I first met him. And John, I kind of met you through social media, through your best friend, Ted, and I want to introduce you to my best friend, my co-host, Cindy Harrison. Hi, Cindy.
Hi, Melissa. Hi, John and Brian. Nice to meet the both of you, and welcome back for Michael and Anna. I always love seeing them every week.
Yes. Thank you for mentioning Michael and Anna. Thank you for being here, both of you. Now, all of you are on the East Coast. I'm all the way over here by myself in Southern California. So if anybody's watching, you're in the West Coast, please say hey, say hi. Just make me feel good. Give me some props. So, so anyway, I really love the fact that you brought up some brands and some different, brands that remind you of certain places. So, Brian, like, what brands or play things, I don't know, like even music comes with where you're from? Does that make sense?
From New Jersey.
What do you identify as the?
From New Jersey, there's only so many musical brands. Really, I was excited to talk to you, and it's cool that John's on here too, because I had worked for 2 years for the wine library.
There we go.
You know what the wine library is? I basically was.
No, Anna does though. She was telling me about it.
All right, so it's
Gary
a place
V's
in
jam.
That's Gary V's. Really, what made Gary famous before Gary's famous now.
He's gonna smack me when I see him next time.
So yes, I got to meet him a couple times. Still talk to him every once in a while. But what happened was I had always read his books, and I really wanted to meet him. So I bugged him and his brother AJ on Twitter, basically until they gave me a job at Wine Library, and it turned out. It was very fun. Yeah, I was using his own methods against him, so to speak.
No doubt.
And he was a really, really nice guy. His father's a really nice guy who still is in the store every single day. Awesome. And I learned a lot there. And at the same time, it was kind of like a wine master class every day, because they were bringing all sorts of wines from around the world. So yes, I would say not a lot of musical brands around here. A couple, but really. Wine Library is a big part of my history. So
that's so cool. What else? Where else do you write? I noticed that you're an author.
For a long time I wrote at this place called the App Factor, which was all about apps, and a couple of people from there actually have moved on to Apple. They're working in the App Store, so anything you see in the App Store, that type of editorial will be them. Some places I write I can't talk about. Which is always fun.
It's interesting.
But, yes. But yeah, all Apple centric. I've been an Apple guy since I was a little kid. But yeah, those are my two loves: music and apples.
So John, I actually met Brian because I won a guitar lesson. He was giving away a guitar lesson as a prize when he had his 100th episode, and I won. So then I contacted him and I said, I would love to have you on my show, and then we'll talk about the guitar lesson. Because you know what? I really am not very musical. I don't know. I would like to take the guitar lesson, but more than having a guitar lesson, I wanted to learn about how he does what he does. How do you give guitar lessons online? Do you, I know you do guitar lessons on video. Tell us more about your process.
Well, when I was growing up, you would go to a school, and I still do that, not as much as I used to, because I am really trying to focus on making more products and things that can be good for everyone at once. Going to do personal lessons is great, but it's a big chunk of time. So that's why I did the Skype lessons, and you can learn a lot. I mean, you don't get the whole, you can't see the students' hands as much, so that's a little barrier. But it is a lot of fun. So yeah, you generally do like a half an hour or an hour Skype lesson, and you can learn a lot that way. It's a whole new world. For that type of technology.
I think Cindy can relate to that.
Well, I tried playing guitar. I took lessons in high school for a couple of years. But what kind of guitar do you play, or do you teach? Do you teach all kinds, or just?
Yeah, well, I had gone to school for classical and jazz, but I've always been a rock guitar player. I like rock. I like blues. And I teach anything. I teach, actually, Melissa, you asked a very good question on Anchor. Which is, what guitar should I start with? Should I start with an acoustic guitar or an electric guitar? And the summary of my answer was, I think it really comes down to what do you want to play? Some people want to get really, really technical at guitar. They might gravitate towards an electric guitar. Some people just want to sit at home and strum a guitar, and that's where I am. After regular work, a lot of days, 9 to 5, I do want to just sit down and strum a guitar and relax a little bit.
Chill out.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So
That's nice.
Do you
So, yeah.
play any instruments, John?
I play the radio.
Yeah, I was gonna say when he asked that, I was gonna say I'll play the shaker or the tambourine. That's about it. But
I have zero musical talent beyond title.
well, one thing I think we can all do, then all use in our businesses, is this Photofy app, and I really do want to talk about that because we're all right now. Every one of us here has some technical thing that we do, or technical, maybe it's not the right word, but audio-visual thing that we're doing online. That's what brought us all together, right? And so I know that I'm using that app a lot, and I want to thank you so much for introducing me to it, John. We kind of connected on LinkedIn, and he told me that that was the new thing that he was doing, and I said, gotta get you on my show, we gotta talk about it, and I started using it right away. In fact, this background is even from the Photofy stockpile of awesome pictures that you get when you become, when you're use the app, you get to use these pictures, and it's from downtown LA. It's really awesome, and so every one of us can use these things in our work. So tell me, how did you get started with it? What do you love about it? What can you tell us about it? What do you want us to know?
Yeah, it's a content creation platform that honestly is really a credit to a bunch of creative people that decided that making content was too hard. I've known Photofy for about 4 years. The founders are Raleigh folks who were in some of our businesses there in Sutich and some other companies. And they, I've known them since I moved back to Raleigh from Arkansas in 2014. And they have built just a fabulous product, really focused though on the simplicity of making content via photos. So
Oop, you zapped out a little bit. You might have to refresh a little, but it's okay.
So much power in photos, you know?
Yes. And beautiful images, just beautiful images. But also what I love about the app is that it has all these layers that you can add on with really clever little memes and words and, things that we would normally use, but so many to choose from. I love it.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry, Cindy.
So you start, there's a photo. She has a photo behind her. So you start with that, and then you build the layers on top of that?
And what's beautiful about that is, yes, that's one way, but it's non-sequential. So you could start with an element and then add other items and then a photo, and so it's very, it's just very open to how you create content. And again, it's not meant to be, it's not Adobe, it's not Canva, it's not, it's not a professional design suite. It's meant to make great content fast that can be consistently branded or create a consistency among a collaborative community's content creations. So instead of kind of
John's connection keeps coming in and out.
Model, you can really you can really think about what happens if 1,000 people have the same assets and then create different things.
Right. You know what's really cool about it, Cindy? You can use your own pictures. I use my own pictures a lot. I'm always putting the word of the week, the word, the things like that. Even your the paint with heart things that we're doing. But then you can add, put it in a collage, or you can add words to it. You can put your own words, and it's really fun. I don't know. I really like it a lot. You can go really professional with it and make it look like something out of a magazine, or you can make it fun, like your own little collage things. I love it.
So I have a copyright question.
Sure.
So if people go, unfortunately in my industry, I'm a decorative painter, and people go and say, well, I'm just going to pull an image off of Google Images.
Yeah.
But that's not that's copyrighted, so they really shouldn't be doing that and trying to sell that or something like that. But if I'm doing, like Melissa's doing a backdrop, clearly, that's from Photofy. It's not a picture she took herself. But when we post this on YouTube, we post this on Facebook Live and stuff. Is that okay for her to use?
That's anything in our app is a rights-free image. So anything that you use there is yours. Our future vision is that we have our community also add into that content stream and figure out a reward system for that community for adding that. So, you're taking great pictures every day, right? You're taking pictures of the places you go, the people you meet, the food you eat. Everybody does that, but I share everything that I eat. But all of these things have I think of interest to people. So imagine creating the world's largest knot stock, and this is an idea of a good dear friend of mine named David Ryan, a knot stock photo asset where you could pull from other people's photos, and we have a transactional system to reward them. I mean, it's not going to be millions of dollars, but imagine you got rewarded 25 cents every time somebody used your picture of your cheeseburger you ate last week.
That'd be cool. That would be cool.
Kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'm taking that picture anyway.
Right.
Is it, if I uploaded pictures, is it something I upload pictures to, obviously? Does the pictures I upload now become available to everyone who uses Photofy?
Only in one of our private communities. So only in a community that you've opted into. Most of our business is an enterprise business. I mean, if you think about what we do, there's thousands of photo editing apps probably. Most of the value add of Photofy is the ability to aggregate community produced content in some way. So we have an enterprise arm that creates content that's branded, typically among people who work for companies. So starting at the employee level, but really thinking about how do we do that with employees? How do we do that with partners? How do we do that ultimately with consumers or people who hate the company? I don't know, whatever. But there's a community of content around every company, and I think what's interesting is thinking about how all of that content comes together in some kind of collaborative way to produce engagement, relationships, and all the things that companies want to do.
I think that's so cool. I think you're perfect for your job because you've had so much experience with the community aspect and connecting people through what their worth is, with blogging and writing and bringing together, your work and wanting to have that feeling of value. So I really appreciate that you're doing that, John. Thank you. I think that's really cool. I want to touch on that with Brian and give him some time to talk about his travels too, because he just got back from a trip, and about how you contribute what you do and bring the value from what you do also. How do you?
I feel like there's so many people doing some element of guitar education or education, whether it be on YouTube or Creative Live or Udemy. There's all these sites, and you have to. I'm not really trying to look at the competition so much. I like to take an idea of what they're doing, but put my own personal brand on it, because I've been teaching for probably about 20 years, and I love teaching. I love talking to people and dealing with different personality types. So the guitar and music, it's that always. I think Tim Ferriss always brings it up, that 80-20 rule, where you get 20% of something and 80% of something. I think the 20% is always really the technical aspect of it, but the 80%, whether you're teaching music or recording somebody, is really getting to know the student or the band that you're recording, because every person's different, and they all have different traits when you're trying to teach them. Some kids are shy, Some people are have big ego. So that's actually what drew me to Anchor, is because Anchor reminded me of Twitter early on. And you know, it's changing. It's getting a little bit more popular now, Anchor, but it is a very cool community, you know, and it's like audio, Snapchat, Twitter. It's something like along those lines. So that's really what drew me to that, because I love the call-ins. I love interacting with people, seeing if people like what I'm playing. As far as the travels, I actually was traveling for my 9 to 5, and it's been nice because I've gotten to travel last year a lot. Probably for me it was a lot, like 20, 25 trips. So all across America, Canada, Denmark twice, and in that time frame, you know, last year I did 100 shows in a row on Anchor, and I just brought it all over the planet, you know. So
that was
it was
really
a little thing
cool.
like that. Yeah, it's just a little goal I had for myself, and you know, once I started doing that, I felt like other stuff fell into place as well. You know, I've been working on exercising a lot. I've lost a lot of weight last year. So once you start, I feel like once you start doing something right, you can start stacking those habits on top of one another.
Well, congratulations for that. I really admire you. Kudos for that. And I'm working on that too. You know, the theme of the week this week is yes. And so, you know, I wanted to see what you thought about that as a concept for motivation, and like how, you know, how can you incorporate that into your daily practices? And I want to start with Cindy, because Cindy, we've been talking about yes all week long. So let's wrap it up. What do you think, my dear?
Well, I think that saying yes can open up so many doors, and Brian, you know, saying yes to going and doing your traveling and getting and losing the weight and all this stuff, making you a healthier you, and John saying yes to, you know, what he's doing in the universe. I think this is great, and I need to. I want to say yes to all of these things and be a part of the now, and I think that. I think I'm well on my way.
You sure are. You sure are. What was our project for yes when we started out on Sunday? What did we make?
This one.
Oh yeah, that was for Valentine's. We had our little our little bird.
And are you thinking what I'm thinking? I called it "Send Her My Love." Right. Because it's a Beatles. I name all of my art projects every week after rock and roll. Mostly rock and roll songs.
Yeah. It was fun. That was a fun one. And then tomorrow our word, we start with a new word for the week. And you want to say what it is?
It's play.
Play.
Because it's in honor of Chinese New Year, which is the year of the dog. Mm-hmm. And so she has her affirmation cards. Melissa has a deck of affirmation cards that we pull the word of the week from. And on that is 2 dogs, which are Anna's holding them up.
She's got my cards. The
parents of her grandpuppy.
Thank you. Show them again, Anna. Show my card. There's my deck. That's awesome. Thank you.
So we're doing a treat jar for the puppy, and
look at that.
I'm telling people to take a picture of their dog. And we're going to decoupage it on the glass and put a butterfly on it. And that's after the dog and butterfly song by heart.
That butterfly is hand-painted. Cindy hand-painted that onto that jar. Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
So we start the week with art, and then we end with last night's show, just talking and having fun. So much fun. So, John, how do you say yes to your people that you're leading at Photofy and your energy there? What are you saying yes to?
Wow, that's a great question. You know, I'm coming into this company new. I've only been there for 6 weeks. Have known them for a long time.
I thought it was a little bit longer than that.
No.
You're doing great.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
You know, what I say is like these guys and ladies have built something really special, and you know, what I want to bring to that is just a sense of gosh, how can I help? Because they have built this thing that I talked to Ted about this a lot. There's very few things that you do in life when you're connected to something that everybody you meet pretty much loves. I mean, we have our bugs and our warts and our issues like anybody doing any kind of technology. But when I talk to people about Photofy, they're like, "Oh my God, I love Photofy." How cool is that? I mean, how cool is that to work with that kind of brand? Mm-hmm. And so what I want to do is say yes to this team and anything that they have dreamed about. Like, oh my gosh, we can accomplish this, and how can I use our relationships and our connections and kind of the things that we know how to do, which are mostly building relationships, and how can we use that to really make Photofy grow and make it a really great tool for the people who are using it. So it's my job.
That's great. I'm gonna watch and learn and hopefully participate. How about you, awesome. Brian? What songs do you think of? I wanted to know if you had some music connection. I found some funny songs too.
I think the biggest thing for me last year and this year is to say yes to the right things. And a couple years ago I was saying yes to everything, and that killed me. I was burnt out. So yeah, this year is about saying yes to the right things that are really going to make a difference. I'll try, and the way to inspire other people, I think, I was taking a lift home from the airport today, and I had a guy who said, "Oh yeah, my brother plays guitar. I played guitar when I was young, but I feel like I can't do it. I would never do it." And I always tell everybody, of course you can. It's not an age thing on learning music. I mean, you could, whether it's like we were talking about before, just strumming a couple chords or really, really getting into it. Of course you can. So that, I think, is my biggest yes, is inspiring other people to say, yes, I can do this, and not be afraid of or intimidated by an instrument.
Well, I'm sold. I think I still want to do. Yes, I will do my lesson that I won. I will do that because I wanted. It's worth a try, right? And you sound like a pretty good teacher, so might as well try. I'll do the acoustic. I think I can do that. Okay, and I do. It reminds me of my dad. My dad tried to learn to play the guitar, and I can't. It's like there's this tune, Tom Dooley or something like that. What is that? Is that like this classic, like what you learn? I could hear him. Oh my gosh!
Yes, the folk song. I think I have that.
Never get it, but he tried. So if he could do it, I could do it. So, well, we only have a couple minutes left. I want to thank you so much, John and Brian, and thank you to Photofy for sponsoring us tonight and bringing this wonderful episode to Facebook and to Bubbler Media. And thank you to John for giving me the app to try. I reviewed it on my blog on MizMeliz.com. You got to go check that out. And I'll be continuing to do that throughout this next week, so you can check out my follow-ups on that. And if I want to see if Anna, do we have any questions or any comments from? I'm going to bring you on.
I was going to say we had a request.
Oops. Oh, okay. I'll bring you on.
I thought would be a great closing for the show.
Okay.
Ted would love for us to get John to dance.
Oh my gosh!
What is wrong with him?
I don't know. She's laughing because she's my best friend. She probably want to try to get me to dance too. Like if Ted can get John to dance, I can get Melissa to dance.
We should all dance it out.
We all dance. Brian, can we get Brian to play the music?
Yeah, I wish I had my
guitar. We can all dance it out. Right.
So, Anna, do you have any comments? I'm going to bring her on. Warning this time. Okay, there you go, hon.
Okay.
Do we have any questions?
I was scrolling through and I dropped a bunch of questions, and I was wondering, well, for Brian, do you play Spanish guitar?
Yeah, I actually, when I went to...
She's so happy. She really wanted to ask that, and I forgot.
An interesting story, but when I was going to school for guitar, I was going to school for... I mean, you go to school for jazz guitar or classical guitar when you're trying to really learn it professionally, and my teacher her teacher was Andres Segovia, who is the master of was the master of classical guitar. His name is on her diploma, so I learned a lot from her. That's a whole craft in itself, but I can't say I play so much Spanish guitar today, but it is a lot of fun when you can.
And the difference is what the strings are made out of, right? I mean, basically.
The difference for that is they're both acoustic guitars, but a regular acoustic guitar that you would strum is steel strings, whereas
and the other one's nylon, right?
It's nylon, yeah, for a classical
guitar. Nailed it. Cool.
That's the one I have up in my closet.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's one of those sounds you just can't get enough of. You know what I mean? Like it just it's addictive. It's just I have a thing for percussion, and then there's a percussive quality to Spanish guitar, especially when they're strumming on the thing and you get the clapping thing going. Yeah.
For sure.
So and so John, I had a question for John. How did you know when it was time to go for your master's?
Ooh. Education question.
Going back to the back.
Going
to
back.
Well,
back in the day.
You thought you were done, John, huh?
No. That's a good question.
Yeah, it is.
I had a different route because I didn't go to college till I was 24.
Okay.
Yeah, I was an underachiever in high school, and I just needed to see a little bit of the world, and I went back to school. So I did my undergrad in 3 years and went straight to grad school. Was that the question?
Well, the question was, how did you know that you wanted to go for your master's? Like, how did you know it was time to just pull the plug and go for it?
Well, no, I was there, and I had to do it to get the job that I wanted to do. I wanted to be in brand management.
Okay.
When I was talking to the career, whatever, people at school would help you figure out what you want to do. They said, look, you got to have a master's to get that job. I'm like, okay, well, let's do that. Is that
cool?
That was really a question?
That was really a question because, it's like you just want to know, like, my dad has 2 masters and he tried for his PhD 3 times. So he's a physicist. So you need a PhD to really get somewhere for that one. But the companies he worked for treated him very nicely. But I've worked at Walmart. We both have worked for Walmart. I saw on LinkedIn. I think if I got that right.
Yep.
Yeah, and I worked a total of 6 years at 3 different times, like at Walmart, and there were things I wanted to do that an associate just couldn't do. You know what I mean? Like I pitched an idea to have a whole seasonal display of all the stuff that we sell at Walmart that are like as set up as outfits. And that went over really well. People bought them off the shelves. But then another management layer or 2 above us, or 3, you get a general manager coming in, and they're like, "No, I don't like that. That's clutter." And I'm like, "Well, it's selling."
That's selling. It's weird. I think what's interesting is, I want to go to work for Walmart because what you did was Sam's culture. Right. I mean, that was the culture of the company. Right.
Uh-huh.
And then you're right. They got very corporatized as they grew and things. But the beauty of, I think, what's going on right now is like it's selling. I mean, that data attached to it's more than my opinion. Like, this is what works. I mean, it's the beauty of kind of almost any industry now when you think about it. Right. So that's what an interesting curve of story, but that was pretty cool. I'd like to go get a degree. Like, it's stupid to have a degree because you need it for a job, right? It should be, we want to have a degree because we want to know something more. So I'd like to go get a PhD in economics one day.
Ooh,
mainly because I suck at math, and so I would have to work, right? And I would probably learn something, but for no reason other than I'd kind of like to know it. And I think it's kind of a cooler point. The idea of we build these displays because we understand what customers want, and this is what sells. That's what should be the degree, not we learned it from a book.
Yeah. And some of the best managers I had were intuitive. Yeah.
And that was Sam's way, right? You know, you think about how Sam built the company. I mean, that was the way, and that's why I wanted to go to work there. It's old school, back in the day. And I love Arkansas.
That's so cool. Well, that's so cool. Thank you so much for having that connection, Anna. Thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate that. And I'm going to move on to Michael now. We're a little bit over time, but Michael, I wanted to see how you wrapped it up for us with yes, and if you had any questions for John or Brian.
That is just absolutely wonderful. The yes, one of the biggest yes things that we can say is to ourselves, and that self-care is so important, you know. And Brian, what you said, I mean, we start doing things and then building on positive things for yourself. Because if you don't do that,
whoopsie,
on my phone.
I'm sorry.
A couple other things.
Are you okay, Michael?
Oh yeah.
Poor guy.
That was an emphatic yes.
Emphatic yes.
A big yes.
That's awesome.
Oh my gosh.
But that's the biggest thing. You can say yes to yourself because that opens up the world of opportunities. And so many people, so many of us take care of a lot of other people and do a lot of other things and don't say yes to ourselves enough. And we think that we are by what we're doing, but we have to realize that it's not selfish to take care of yourself so that you could be able to reach out and give so much to other people. And you know what, Melissa, this is fantastic. Your show every week, I'm meeting amazing people, learning so many different things. You know, Cindy is behind the scenes there making it look easy. Anna comes in like just seamlessly and is just bringing everything together online, on air, the comments, everything.
Okay. I'm going to have to stop you. He's just going to go on and keep pouring on and on. Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, John and Brian, for being here, and Anna and Cindy. I love you all. Thank you very much. We'll see you all next week on Last Night's Show with Miz Meliz. Have a great evening, everybody.
Good night, y'all.
Bye.
Lito and I are in front of the Magic Castle in Hollywood, California. It's going to be a fun night. We're both in here. Bye.